The day begins even before you get out of bed. It begins in your mind. What you think in the first few minutes of the morning determines the course of your actions, the weight of your worries, and the strength of your resilience. If you wake up lamenting, you will carry the day like a burden. If you awaken with clarity, you will use every moment as a stepping stone to grow. Waking up well is not luck. It is a choice. And this choice begins with what you decide to feed your mind as soon as you open your eyes. The ancients knew this. For them, each dawn was an opportunity, not an obstacle. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the emperor of Rome, did not wake up expecting the day to be easy. He prepared himself to face whatever came with serenity and wisdom. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to love. Life owes you nothing, but it offers you a new day. What will you do with it? Will you waste it with distractions and complaints, or will you use it to strengthen your mind? You cannot control everything that will happen today, but you can control your attitude towards each situation. You can choose between reacting impulsively or acting with wisdom. You can lament what you don't have or strengthen yourself with what is within your reach. Resilience is not blind resistance. It is conscious adaptation. Wisdom is not just knowledge. It is right action. If you start the day with an aligned mind, nothing can throw you off course. Now, before we begin, I want to hear from you. How will your day be? If you wish to start this journey with strength and clarity, write in the comments the phrase of the day. My day will be incredible. Leave a like to support the channel. Subscribe to receive more messages like this. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this reflection. Let's build a stronger mind together, one day at a time. Now listen carefully. These are 12 Stoic meditations for your day to begin with resilience and wisdom. The first thought of the day shapes everything. Listen closely. The way you start your day sets the course for everything that follows. The first thought that arises upon waking is not just a reflection of your mind. It is a command. It can prepare you to face whatever comes with strength, or it can throw you into a cycle of distraction and discouragement. You decide whether you get up with determination or are dragged by inertia. When you open your eyes in the morning, what is your first reaction? Do you complain about being tired? Worry about what you have to do? Feel angry about having to face another day? Or do you rise like a warrior who sees the new day as a battlefield where you will have the chance to train your resilience, your patience, and your mental strength? Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It's all within yourself, in your way of thinking, and this starts at dawn." Think about it. If the first thought of the day is negative, what happens? It spreads like an uncontrolled flame, consuming your energy before you even get out of bed. If you complain early on, every little difficulty throughout the day will seem bigger. If you start with haste and anxiety, your mind will be scattered and restless. But if you start with gratitude, presence, and purpose, you create a mental shield against whatever may come. The human mind is like a garden. What you plant at dawn will grow throughout the day. If you plant seeds of worry, you will reap anxiety. If you plant complaints, you will reap frustration. But if you plant strength, patience, and purpose, you will reap a productive, serene, and powerful day. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter the mistakes of the past. Today, now, you have a new day before you, and it all begins with the first thought. Therefore, upon waking, before looking at your phone, before getting up in a hurry, stop for a moment, breathe. Ask yourself, what will be the tone of my day? Consciously decide what you will feed your mind. Instead of starting with doubts and complaints, try starting with a powerful affirmation, something simple like, "Today is a good day to be strong," or "Nothing can shake me." Small mental rituals like this reprogram your mind to face challenges differently. Life is not about what happens to you, but about how you choose to respond. And the way you respond is defined by your mental state. You can wake up as a victim of circumstances or as someone who masters their own mind. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, but facing them with clarity and firmness. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes, remember this: don't let your mind run wild with negativity. Master the first thought of the day. Set the tone with intention and wisdom, for a day well begun has a much greater chance of being a day well lived. Life is short. Do not waste it. Time does not ask for permission to advance. It does not wait for you to be ready. Slow down for you to organize yourself, or grant you a pause to start over whenever you wish. It simply moves on, and with it your life also passes, whether you realize it or not. Many live as if there were an infinite supply of days at their disposal. They postpone important decisions, avoid facing challenges, and waste hours on empty distractions. But the truth is, no one knows how much time they have left. Death does not send a warning. It does not knock on the door in advance. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this constantly and warned us, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." There is a common illusion that tomorrow will always be there, waiting patiently. However, tomorrow has never been guaranteed for anyone. How many opportunities have already slipped away because of hesitation? How many words were left unsaid out of fear or pride? How many dreams remained only in the realm of intentions because someone thought there would still be time? The present is all that truly exists. Yesterday is a memory, tomorrow is an uncertainty, but now is power. Avoiding procrastination does not mean acting impulsively, but recognizing that every moment counts. Every small decision has an impact. The day that seems ordinary is in fact a valuable fragment of your existence. If each morning is treated as a gift, if each opportunity is valued, life gains more meaning. Negligence with time is one of the greatest causes of regret. It is not about haste, but about purpose. The difference between someone who wastes their life and someone who lives it fully is not in the amount of time available, but in the use they make of it. Those who understand the finiteness of existence do not live in a hurry, but with awareness. They choose their battles, dedicate themselves to what matters, and do not get caught up in the superfluous. Nothing you have today is guaranteed forever. The people by your side, the opportunities that appear, even your health, everything is transient. The lack of perception of this reality causes many to neglect what truly matters, worrying about small things, accumulating unnecessary grudges, living as if they had another life in reserve. Death, far from being a morbid thought, is a powerful reminder that life needs to be lived with intention. There is no time to feed resentments, to get lost in futilities, or to live a life that does not reflect who you truly are. Now ask yourself, what would you do differently if you knew this was one of your last days? What worries would cease to make sense? What actions would you take immediately? If the answer is clear, then there is no reason to wait. Time is passing, whether you take advantage of it or not. The choice is yours. 3. The world should not have power over you. Wake up and look around. From the first moments of the day, the world tries to invade your mind. Alarming news, immediate messages, problems that arise even before you have your morning coffee. Without realizing it, many surrender control of their thoughts to external chaos. They live reacting instead of acting. But a strong spirit is not one that is dragged along by the whirlwind of life, but one that maintains its own axis, regardless of the circumstances. The Stoics knew that the only thing that truly belongs to each of us is the way we choose to react. Epictetus taught, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Nothing has the power to affect you without your permission. The words of others, the difficulties of the day, unexpected challenges, all of this can exist without your peace being compromised. True strength lies in the ability to remain centered while the world spins around you. Whoever depends on the recognition of others to feel valid becomes a prisoner of others' opinions. Whoever allows small problems to dictate their mood surrenders their own well-being to events outside their control. Whoever reacts impulsively to everything that happens never finds stability. Freedom is not in escaping challenges, but in not being enslaved by them. The secret to not being tamed by the external world is to build an unshakable inner world. This means cultivating strong thoughts, immune to negative influences. It means developing the discipline to not engage in useless arguments, to not feed resentments, and to not allow the energy of other people to determine your day. Train your mind to be like a rock in the middle of the ocean. The waves come and crash, but the rock remains firm. If someone offers you an offense, you are not obliged to accept it. If a situation tries to throw you off balance, you have the power to choose your response. There is no greatness in being easily shaken, but there is immense strength in those who maintain calm where others get lost in chaos. Consider the amount of energy that is wasted every day on worries that lead nowhere, the traffic that irritates you, the opinions that bother you, the small frustrations that accumulate unnecessarily. Instead of spending your strength reacting to everything, reserve your energy for what truly matters. Choose your battles wisely. Throughout the day, numerous occasions will arise where you will be tested. Someone will say something that could provoke your anger. An unforeseen event could frustrate your plans. An unexpected difficulty could seem like a burden. But remember, you always have the power to choose how to respond. The world can pull you in 1,000 directions, but your path is defined by you. Stand firm, and nothing can bring you down. Master your mind before it masters you. Thoughts arise all the time without warning, like clouds crossing the sky. Some bring clarity, others storms. Whoever does not observe their own thoughts ends up being carried away by them, like a boat without a rudder, surrendered to the currents of chance. But whoever learns to guide their own mind, decides where to go, and does not let themselves be carried away by the wind of emotion or doubt. The problem is that few realize that their greatest enemies are not out there, but inside their own heads. Unfounded fears, exaggerated worries, memories that repeat without purpose. All of this can consume your energy before the day even begins. It is not reality that torments us, but the way we interpret it. Is your mind trapped in past pains or fears about the future? Where is there room to live in the present? Training the mind is like strengthening a muscle. It requires repetition and discipline. It means learning to distinguish useful thoughts from destructive ones. A real problem needs a solution. But what about those problems that only exist in the imagination? And those conversations you repeat in your mind, arguing with people who are not even present? That is not reflection. It is self-sabotage. Unfiltered thoughts can become invisible prisons. The Stoic is not one who ignores reality, but one who faces it without getting lost in it. He observes his emotions, recognizes his impulses, but does not become a slave to them. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man of his time, understood that true strength was in the mind. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." One of the most effective ways to tame the mind is to practice detachment. Whenever a thought arises, ask yourself, does this deserve my attention? If the answer is no, let it go. If it is something important, deal with it rationally. The mistake of most people is not feeling fear, anger, or anxiety. That is human. The mistake is clinging to that feeling and letting it define their actions. Throughout the day, you will be challenged. Something will go out of control. Someone will test your patience. A worry will try to occupy your mind. What will you do in that moment? Will you yield to the impulse or maintain command? The choice is in your hands. The mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy, and the only person who decides that is you. Adversity is a test, not a punishment. When everything is calm, anyone can seem strong. But it is in difficult times that one discovers who is truly resilient. Adversity is not a punishment. It is a test for your mind, your patience, your discipline. What do you do when things don't go as expected? Do you complain, give up, or use it as fuel to become even stronger? The world does not bend to your will. Unexpected circumstances will arise, people will disappoint you, difficulties will appear without warning. But none of this has the power to define who you are unless you allow it. The Stoics saw each challenge as a training ground, an opportunity to forge character and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, what today seems like an obstacle is what you needed to grow. Think of the great minds of history, the men and women who marked the world. None of them had an easy journey. All of them faced challenges that could have been used as an excuse to give up. But instead of surrendering, they used each difficulty to strengthen themselves. Adversity did not destroy them, it shaped them. And the same choice is before you. The problem is not encountering difficulties, but how you react to them. Whoever gives in to despair loses the opportunity to learn. Whoever complains instead of acting wastes the energy that could be used to overcome. When a challenge arises, you have two options. See yourself as a victim or as someone being shaped by life. The difference between those who grow and those who fail is not in luck, but in mindset. Great warriors are not made in times of peace. The strongest steel is forged in the heat of the furnace. The greater the challenge, the stronger you can become if you choose to face it with the right mindset. Pain, frustration, uncertainty, all of this can be fuel for your evolution, but only if you decide that nothing will be able to bring you down. Today, regardless of what happens, adopt the posture of someone who uses every situation to their advantage. If something difficult arises, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me wiser? Resilience is not just enduring suffering, it is transforming it into strength. Life will not give you a path without obstacles, but it offers the chance to grow with each one of them. Do not see challenges as enemies, but as opportunities to prove to yourself what you are truly capable of. The fire of difficulties can consume the weak or strengthen those who choose to resist. What will it be for you? 6. Choose your mood as you choose your clothes. Before leaving the house, you choose the clothes you will wear. You check the weather, decide between something comfortable or formal, and dress for the occasion. But what about your mind? How do you prepare it for the day? Just as unsuitable clothing can make you uncomfortable, a bad mental state can turn your day into a burden. The problem is that most people do not realize they have a choice. They believe that their mood is determined by external factors, as if they were at the mercy of events. But that is not the truth. The way you face the day has a direct impact on your resilience. If you wake up irritated and get stuck on small setbacks, every difficulty will seem greater. If you choose to start with clarity, with a strong mindset, nothing will have the power to bring you down. The Stoics understood this and prepared for daily challenges in the same way a soldier prepares for battle, by first adjusting their mindset. Epictetus reminds us, people are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Imagine two people facing the same day. Both wake up, go to work, and deal with challenges. But one of them gets irritated with every little problem, while the other remains calm. What differentiates one from the other? The way they decided to react. What happens around you may be unpredictable, but your attitude towards situations is under your control. No one can prevent challenges from arising throughout the day, but everyone can decide how to deal with them. You can choose whether to let small frustrations dominate your mood or to maintain control over your emotions. You can decide that unforeseen events will not be enough to ruin your day. You can choose patience instead of irritation, clarity instead of confusion, strength instead of fragility. The secret to a productive day is not in avoiding problems, but in developing the ability to face them without being shaken. Instead of allowing your mood to fluctuate with circumstances, make the conscious decision to carry a firm attitude with you. Just as no one would go out on a cold day without a proper coat, no one should start the day without preparing their own mind. Before leaving the house, ask yourself, what attitude do I want to bring to my day? How do I want to feel regardless of what happens. Adjust your mindset before the world tries to adjust it for you. If you need to, have a phrase to repeat throughout the day, something that works as a reminder of your purpose. Choose what you wear well, but choose the mental state you will carry with you even better. The way you feel does not have to be dictated by others. You have more control than you imagine. Try taking on this responsibility, and you will see that regardless of the circumstances, you can turn any day into a day of strength and growth. Fear is a liar. Face the day without it. If there is something that weakens a man before he even acts, it is fear. It settles in silently, like a shadow that grows without you noticing. A thought here, a doubt there, and before you know it, you are paralyzed. Fear convinces you that you are fragile, that you will fail, that you are not good enough. It makes challenges seem bigger than they really are, risks impossible to face. But fear is a liar. It exaggerates, distorts, and creates obstacles that only exist in your mind. Those who let themselves be guided by fear always live on the sidelines of life, avoiding risks, avoiding discomfort, even avoiding opportunities. They don't try something new because they fear failure. They don't speak their minds because they fear judgment. They don't take the first step because they fear the unknown path. But the great truth is that nothing grows in the comfort zone. If you want to strengthen yourself, you need to learn to act despite fear. The Stoics understood this deeply. They did not deny the existence of fear, but they refused to be governed by it. Epictetus said, "Freedom is not secured by the fulfilling of one's desires, but by the removal of desire for what is not in our control." In other words, you do not find peace by avoiding challenges, but by facing them head-on. Fear does not disappear on its own. It retreats when it realizes you are not listening to it. Everyone has experienced fear at some point. However, the difference between those who advance and those who stay behind is not in the absence of fear, but in how they deal with it. Those who strengthen themselves learn that the only way to overcome it is to face it. Postponing, fleeing, or hiding only makes it grow stronger. What seemed like a small worry becomes a gigantic monster when fed by hesitation. A good strategy for dealing with fear is to question it. It arises saying, "What if it goes wrong?" But you can answer, "And what if it goes right?" It insists, "And what if I fail?" But you retort, "And what if I learn something valuable?" The mind has a habit of creating catastrophic scenarios that almost never happen. Fear loves to use the worst-case scenario as an argument, but rarely does that worst case materialize. Living with fear is an invisible prison. You may be standing, but you are chained. Every time you give in, every time you avoid an action out of fear of what might happen, the chains tighten. But the good news is that these chains are not real. They are forged by your own thoughts, and thoughts can be replaced. Today, throughout the day, observe how many of your decisions are influenced by fear. Does it stop you from speaking, from trying, from acting? If so, question it. Challenge that fear. Choose to face it. Choose courage, for it is the only way to grow. Freedom is on the other side of fear, and only those who dare to cross it can truly live it. 8. Every person you meet is a test of your patience. Not all of the day's challenges will come from big problems or unexpected situations. Often, the greatest test of resilience arises in small daily interactions. Impatience in traffic, the rudeness of a stranger, the lack of consideration from someone close. Every person who crosses your path has the potential to test your calm, your capacity for self-control, and your inner strength. How do you react to this? Do you let yourself be carried away by irritation, or do you see each encounter as an exercise in emotional discipline? You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can decide how to respond. If every rude word you hear dictates your mood, then you are surrendering your power to anyone who crosses your path. If every small disagreement makes you lose your balance, then your peace will be a hostage to the attitudes of others. Stoicism teaches that true mastery is not in changing others, but in maintaining one's own serenity, regardless of what happens around you. It is easy to get worked up when someone acts hostilely. The natural instinct is to respond in kind, to defend yourself, to prove a point. But what good does that do? What is the benefit of letting yourself be carried away by anger? Marcus Aurelius said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to love. If something as simple and fundamental as being alive is already a gift, why allow the attitude of others to spoil that gift?" There is a huge difference between reacting and responding. Those who react act on impulse, without reflection, letting themselves be carried away by the heat of the moment. Those who respond, on the other hand, do so with awareness, choosing their words and actions with wisdom. Before getting irritated with someone, stop for a moment and ask yourself, does this really deserve my energy? Will this discussion lead me anywhere productive? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Patience does not mean passivity. It does not mean accepting injustice or allowing others to disrespect you. But it does mean knowing how to choose your battles. Some provocations do not deserve a response. Some arguments are not worth your time. Some criticisms do not need to be absorbed. Your inner peace should be protected as something sacred and not handed over to anyone who decides to provoke you. The world is full of people trapped in their own frustrations, spreading their negativity without even realizing it. What happens if you allow this to affect you? You become a reflection of these people, replicating the same behavior you should be avoiding. But if you decide to act differently, you not only protect your mind, but also set an example for those around you. Today, when someone tests your patience, see it as an opportunity, not a problem. Every interaction is a chance to prove to yourself that you are in control. There is no weakness in maintaining calm. Strength lies in it, and those who learn this lesson early are the ones who live with more lightness and purpose. The day will pass anyway. Make it worthwhile. Time does not ask if you are ready. It follows its course, indifferent to your worries, your desires, and your regrets. Today, as you breathe, the minutes are running out. What do you do with them? Do you let them slip away without purpose, or do you use them to build something significant? The day will pass regardless of your choices, so why not choose to make it useful? Many waste their hours waiting for the right moment to act. They postpone important decisions, leave dreams for later, and believe that one day they will be more prepared. But that perfect day never comes. The ideal time to start anything is not tomorrow, not next week. It is now. Every moment of hesitation is a lost moment, and every instant of procrastination is an opportunity that will never return. The Stoic philosophy teaches that we have no control over time, but we have control over how we use it. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, stop waiting for ideal conditions to live according to what you believe. Time does not care about your excuses, but it rewards those who decide to act. The feeling of waste does not come from physical exhaustion, but from the regret of not having done what was necessary. Have you ever had days when you felt you produced nothing of value? Days that passed without leaving a mark? This feeling does not come from a lack of time, but from a lack of intention. The secret is not in doing a lot, but in doing what really matters. The focus should not be on the quantity of tasks completed, but on their impact. If you spend the day solving problems that lead nowhere, the feeling of exhaustion will be inevitable. But if you choose your actions wisely, each small victory will bring motivation to keep going. That is why defining a daily purpose is essential, not a gigantic, unattainable goal, but something concrete that, at the end of the day, will make you feel it was worthwhile. Nothing prevents you from turning an ordinary day into a significant one. You can learn something new, improve a skill, strengthen a relationship, or simply decide to face challenges with more calm. Small daily choices build a destiny. What you choose to do today defines the person you will become tomorrow. Whatever your reality, one thing is certain: the hours will follow their course. You can spend them with distractions, lamentations, and postponements, or you can use them to grow. At the end of the day, the question will not be, did time pass? Because it always does. The question will be, what did I do with it? Pressure is a privilege. It means you are alive. Few people see pressure as something positive. Most treat it as a burden, a source of stress and fatigue. But think about it. What is pressure if not a sign that you are in motion, that there are challenges to be overcome, responsibilities to be fulfilled, and opportunities to be seized? Those who feel no pressure are often stagnant. Those who flee from it avoid growth. The Stoics did not fear pressure. They used it as a tool to become stronger. They knew that a comfortable, challenge-free life does not produce wisdom or resilience. It is in discomfort that true growth happens. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Just as a muscle needs to be challenged to grow, your mind needs challenges to become stronger. Avoiding challenges may seem like an easier path, but in the long run, it leads to fragility. Whoever has never faced difficulties becomes incapable of dealing with the slightest adversity. Pressure teaches, pain strengthens, and responsibility shapes character. If you feel you have a lot on your shoulders, see it as a privilege. It means you have something to protect, something to fight for, something worth your effort. The difference between those who thrive and those who succumb to pressure lies in their mindset. Those who complain about the weight of daily life waste time resisting reality, while those who accept and learn to deal with pressure become more resilient. Stoicism teaches that instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" it's better to ask, "How can I grow from this?" Great leaders, athletes, warriors, and thinkers all faced moments of extreme pressure. But instead of bowing down, they used it as motivation. They understood that life does not reward those who flee from challenges, but those who face them head-on. The pressure you feel today may be exactly what will take you to a new level of maturity, intelligence, and inner strength if the day seems heavy, if the responsibilities are many. If the decisions seem difficult, do not see it as a punishment. See it as a training ground. Every situation that demands extra effort from you is actually honing your mental resistance. Every moment of tension prepares you for even greater challenges in the future. Instead of wishing for a life without difficulties, wish for a mind strong enough to face them. Instead of complaining about the weight of responsibilities, remember that they only exist because you are in a position capable of bearing them. Pressure is a reminder that you are alive, growing, and becoming stronger, and that in itself is a privilege. The world is hectic, but you can be serene. The noise outside never ceases. The traffic, the news, the demands of work, the expectations of people around you. Everything seems to pull you into a constant state of agitation. Amidst this, the mind easily becomes a reflection of the external chaos, restless, scattered, overwhelmed. But does it have to be this way? The world may be on fire, but within you, there can exist a place of absolute tranquility. The Stoics did not seek to control the world, for they knew that was impossible. Instead, they worked to control themselves. The storm may roar outside, but you do not have to be carried away by it. Just as the bottom of the ocean remains calm, even when the surface is turbulent, you can cultivate a state of serenity regardless of the circumstances. Being serene does not mean being passive. It does not mean you ignore problems or pretend nothing is happening. It means that instead of reacting impulsively to everything that occurs around you, you learn to observe before you act. It means you understand that your peace does not depend on external factors, but on the way you choose to interpret the world. Many people let themselves be carried away by the fast pace of society. They wake up already rushing, jump from task to task, overload themselves with information, and end the day exhausted. But the fatigue often comes not from the number of things done, but from the lack of presence. Being busy is different from being productive. Those who live in a constant state of hurry rarely notice the moments that truly matter. Serenity needs to be cultivated. Small breaks throughout the day make a difference. Taking a deep breath before reacting to a stressful situation can completely change the outcome of the moment. Consciously choosing which battles are worth your time avoids unnecessary wear and tear. Not everything needs to be answered. Not every problem deserves your energy. Sometimes the best response is silence, and the best action is not to get involved. A serene mind is not an empty mind, but a mind trained to remain firm, even when everything around seems to be falling apart. Whoever masters the art of serenity gains something that many spend their entire lives searching for: control over themselves. The world may try to push you in 1,000 directions, but in the end, the choice of how to react will always be yours. Therefore, as the day goes on, remember this: you are not obliged to absorb the hurry of others, nor do you need to carry the weight of others' expectations. Peace can exist within you, even when the world outside is in chaos. This is not escape, it is strength. It is the ability to be a point of balance amidst the confusion, and that is one of the greatest achievements one can have. 12. Every obstacle carries a hidden opportunity. Not everything that comes your way is a blockage. Often, what seems to be preventing your progress is actually redirecting you to a better path. The problem is that few have the patience and wisdom to see this. When something goes wrong, the common reaction is to complain, get discouraged, or give up. But whoever adopts this posture misses the opportunity that exists amidst the challenge. Life does not throw obstacles to punish you, but to shape you. The Stoics saw every difficulty as an exercise in growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of this when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that instead of fighting against challenges, we should use them as stepping stones. If something did not go as expected, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I come out of this situation stronger than I went in? This type of mindset completely changes your relationship with difficulties. Every person who has achieved success in any area has had to deal with setbacks. No one grows without challenges. An athlete who wants to become stronger needs resistance to train. An artist needs to fail many times before achieving mastery. A leader needs to face crises to develop wisdom. No great achievement comes without effort, and no true progress happens without obstacles in the way. Most people see problems only from the negative side. They focus on what they lost, what went wrong, what did not go as planned. But what if instead you started asking, what new possibility has arisen from this? What is this situation teaching me? This change in thinking does not eliminate the difficulties, but it makes them work in your favor. Resisting reality does not change it. If an obstacle appears, fighting against it irrationally will only increase the suffering. Stoicism teaches that we should accept what cannot be changed and act with wisdom on what is within our reach. If a path has closed, perhaps it is a sign to explore another direction. If a mistake was made, it may contain a valuable lesson. Everything depends on how you choose to see events. Consider the most difficult moments of your life. At the time, they seemed unbearable. But today, looking back, you may realize that they were what made you grow, taught you important lessons, and strengthened your resilience. This means that current challenges may also be preparing you for something greater. When an obstacle arises, do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What can I do with this?" Facing difficulties is inevitable, but being defeated by them is optional. If you learn to see the hidden opportunities within challenges, nothing will be able to stop you. Each obstacle can be a weight that holds you to the ground or a springboard to something greater. The choice will always be yours. These are your weapons for the day. Use them well. What happens around you does not define who you are. What defines you is how you choose to react. Strength is in action, not just in reflection. If this message made sense to you, show your commitment. Comment, I stayed until the end. I want to see who is really ready to turn each day into a new training for the mind. And before you go, support the channel. Leave your like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. Life does not wait, so walk, and walk like someone who knows where they are going. I'll see you in the next video. Until then.